What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Yak Nasty Fishing. You know where you're at. And today we're going to talk about a technique or an arena when it comes to fishing that a lot of guys struggle on. But trust me, guys, these basic tips are going to help you put more fish on the yak, the bank, or the boat. Stick around. So, guys, if you're wondering what today's topic is, I'm going to make it real simple. We're talking top water. Yeah, guys. Of course, when you say top water, a lot of people think frog, a lot of people think whopper, plopper, a lot of people think spooks. We're going to talk about all of those and pretty much the best areas to fish it, normally the best time to fish it, just a general overview of top water baits, guys. So to get us started, we're going to talk about the one and only popper. Yeah, guys, a top water plug. This right here, a popper. Scoop mouth, basic body. This one by Guggen. These little poppers come in, I'm going to tell you, a lot of different sizes, a lot of different colors. But your top water popper, guys. The popper, I put it out there first because one, it's a very easy bait. All right. So for those guys just getting started in bass fishing or fishing in general, this is a pretty basic bait. You can find these everywhere and anywhere, and they're not hard to learn. They're not a difficult technique. All right. And where you're going to throw them doesn't take a considerable amount of accuracy. All right, guys. So you don't have to be very accurate in casting your popper. Now, once you get better, you will throw it in those areas where accuracy plays a big part. But generally, guys, this is what we're going to touch on today. Generally, you don't need the greatest accuracy. So this is definitely for the beginners. This is definitely for the guys just starting out. And the way you're going to fish this thing is you're going to throw it right where you want to put it at in your target area. You're going to let it sit for a couple seconds. Let all the ripples dissipate, all right? That's going to be a theme throughout this top water video, guys. You're going to let those ripples dissipate, go away, all right? Soon as those ripples are gone, you're going to give this thing a pat, pat, all right? Or a tap, all right? Just a twitch of that rod, semi-slack is the best way to do it, guys. And you just give it that pop and see the plopper, or the popper, I should say. Sorry about that. But the popper, it makes a little pop sound, a little bloop, 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 right? But it stays in place. It stays in the target area longer, so you don't have to think too hard about it as a angler that's just getting started in his top water popper journey, guys. So this is very simple. You're going to throw this in areas that are more open, very sparse cover, grass just below the surface, guys. And I mean, the grass can come up maybe 2-3 inches below the surface, and this bait will work. Okay, guys, but you're going to want to be careful because you do not want that grass too close to the surface, because if that bass takes that thing down, those treble hooks can get caught in that cover, guys. So very sparse cover, pretty much little open areas. This right here will get bit, and it's a very great hookup ratio. Those treble hooks right there, very hard to get away from treble hooks. All right, guys. So this also is a confidence booster when it comes to top water baits. Get you a popper, guys. Every angler needs this on the boat. These things come in handy. Get those. That top water popper, man, this is a very amazing bait. And you're just going to give it those pops, that bloop, bloop. Sparse cover, awesome, awesome bite. There's nothing better than a top water bite, guys. And when you're fishing with the popper, guys, it is a crazy, crazy strike most of the time. All right, guys. And just like all of the top water baits, when you get that bite, it is very aggressive. And man, you just better hold on and get that thing in the boat, get that thing in the yak, or get that thing to the bank. Okay, guys? Because yes, You can also fish this from the bank as well, guys. So another bait that works really, really well in sparse cover, but it is made to cover water. All right. Unlike the popper, it's going to sit in that target zone. It's a very slow working bait, but it's perfect for the beginner. But this one, in the same type of cover area, sparse cover, grass growing just below the surface, those pads not quite breaching that surface yet, uh, submerged wood, big bulky laydowns without all the branches, stuff like that. This is going to work wonders for you guys. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be two baits coming back to back that do very similar moves, but this is to cover water in that sparse cover. You notice I'm starting in sparse cover, not heavy cover and not light to no cover just yet, guys, because we want to start off with the basics, with the generals that even the beginners, all right, those guys that just getting out there, starting their fishing journey, those young kids, this is where we're going to start, guys. So sparse cover, things you're not really going to have to worry about fighting so much, but you know the fish are around there, okay, guys? So another bait in sparse cover that is used to find those aggressive fish, buzz bait. All right, guys? A buzz bait is awesome for sparse cover. All right. If you got a lily pad lane, just a wide open lane, and you can throw it, you got a little bit better accuracy. You throw it down that lane and you bring this thing right on back, and all that squeaky, squeaky noise gets the job done. This one here, I think, is by Booyah. This is a very good one here as well. Buzz baits, I'm telling you, skirtless, the buzz bait gets those bites early in the morning, evening time. But you would be surprised, top water works all day long, guys. All right. So with the buzz bait, you're really going to try that mostly in the morning, mostly in the evenings, but you can get a buzz bait bite in the afternoon, and normally it is a biggin. All right, guys. Some of them have trailers. This one I don't have a trailer on because I fish it just like this, and you see it has a trailer hook to increase that hookup rate, guys. All right. This one here, I normally do have a fluke style bait on it. I just changed out the skirt. I wanted to do something different. So that's why this one does not have a skirt, but I will throw a fluke style bait on there, or I will get that Yamamoto Zako. Okay. Very, very low drag in the water, but still has just that subtle action to really get that fish's attention and give them something to focus on, guys. So sometimes it's just a skirt, and sometimes it's a skirt and a trailer, and sometimes it's a skirt, a trailer, hook. Okay, guys. So the buzz bait is really good for that sparse cover. It is really good for covering water. If you're moving fast along the bank there and you're seeing these open patches or those little corners of the lily pads and you want to come across that buzz bait really gets those fish going, and you can get a real good bite going. And you don't have to be a super vet to be throwing a daggone buzz bait. All right, guys, it's a chuck and wind. You throw it out there and you wind it back. You give it that proper speed. See, you do have to find that right speed, but once you find that right speed that these fish are going to want to attack, then the battle's won, guys. You just go find that type of cover that they're on. You simulate those same situations all around the lake, and you get that bite. That buzz bait is a very violent bite, guys. I want you to know that. Very violent bite indeed. And I love fishing a buzz bait as well. I do love fishing a black buzz bait. That is the favorite color of mine, and I think it's actually tied up on one of the rods right now. So it's not here for the demonstration, but black is my favorite one with a green pumpkin trailer, like the Z-Man goats, the real big ones. Decent size, I guess 4-inch size, not real big. Or a green pumpkin crawl type bait on there, creature bait, little beaver will work too. It will really get that bite going, guys. I'm telling you, That black does the trick, especially in those high sun days, because you can catch on top water with bluebird skies, guys. Don't let them fool you. You just have to figure the fish out. Another bait that works in sparse cover, the whopper plopper, guys. This here is the 110 size. I was just talking about black. This black one here does all the work I be wanting it to do, guys. I know that wasn't proper English, but it's true. That's how good this thing is. The whopper plopper, this is the 110 size. This black whopper plopper puts in the work. And I only keep two colors of the whopper plopper, all right? It's gonna be this bone color right here, all right? This 110 size bone color and the 90 size bone color, all right? As well as this black one in the 110 and the 90 size, all right? These get bit. Do not underestimate the whopper plopper. The best advantage in a whopper plopper, right, is when you throw it out there, you can bring it, you can pause it, and then you can give it those taps, and it'll just make that tail spin. I use this retrieve a lot. It's almost like a crankbait retrieve where I'll just drag the rod a little bit and let that bait sit as I reel in the slack, drag that whopper plopper, and then reel it in. That pause gives those fish time to bite. And sometimes you want to work it fast. Sometimes you want to work it slow. The whopper plopper really is good for that variable retrieve. Okay, you can definitely mix up your retrieves to see what the bass are on a lot better than you can a buzz bait, because you cannot pause the buzz bait. All right, guys. So if you want to switch it up a little bit, get your whopper plopper. I'm telling you, that whopper plopper really does the trick in switching it up, and you get those bites, guys. Not every fishery is accustomed to the whopper plopper. Not yet anyway. You still catch them, and you catch some big ones. All right, guys. That is a serious technique right there that a lot of people underestimate. And then when you switch to that 90 size, that little bit smaller whopper plopper, you will be amazed on how many bites those smaller ploppers actually get. You'll catch fish all morning with that, man. Same deal, sparse cover. Everybody says low light. I like to fish it in the morning. I like to fish it in the evening, but I also like to fish it 3 o'clock when the sun's up high. And you will be surprised those bites you get and where you pull those fish from. Those docks, all right? That counts as sparse cover. You throw a whopper plopper, a buzz bait, and a popper right up along the dock side, and guys, you will get bit. All right, guys. The next bait that we're going to pick for sparse cover, guys, this, I'm going to tell you, just because I'm saying sparse cover, you can throw it in a little bit thicker stuff, and you got to be mindful that I'm only recommending these for sparse cover. Now, the rest is up to you. So the next bait I would really check out and use and keep tied on in sparse cover, a lot of people aren't using them, wake baits. All right. Wake baits. This here is a jointed wake bait. All right, it's the osprey. This is a very good bait, headbanger osprey. All right, this thing here, it just gets that bubble action going right here. It's right on top of the water, and that body just, look at that. All right, it does its bait fish thing. Got a little rattle to it, guys. And this wake bait is awesome. The osprey right here. I also got one, the beetle right here. This thing does wonders, man. The bites I've had on this, man, they're normally big bites, man. When you get a bite on this, it's normally a pretty good sized fish. All right. The same with this bass, snakehead. You see, this thing has just been chewed up. I don't know if you can see that, but this bait is awesome. You see it has that bait fish look. It's just plutting along on that top surface there in the sparse cover. It draws those fish off those little grassy ledges. Then that grass is growing, within the foot of that surface of the water. Guys, this has some draw power to it, man, and it will pull some of those big ones right on out of that grass. It'll pull some of those big ones out of that junk down there, all right, guys? So this is a very good bait. Try the wake bait, sparse cover, man, this does wonders. the edge of those pads, that outer edge of those pads, and then there's a ledge right there, most cases, man, this thing does wonders. Get a wake bait, throw that wake bait, and you can throw this bait out there. You're gonna let it sit, of course, let the ripples dissipate, and you can switch up the retrieve, guys. You can definitely do a a burn pause. You can definitely do a slow straight back reel with it with a few pauses in between. You can definitely switch up the retrieve on a wake bait and get those strikes and entice those fish to bite, guys. So guys, that is the total lineup, right, of sparse cover baits, all right? Your wake bait, all right? Your popper, your plopper, your buzz baits. All right, guys, sparse cover. Those baits are what you're gonna want to throw. All right, hands down, get those baits for sparse cover. All right, guys. So moving on to light cover. All right, or almost no cover. I know some of you guys that aren't used to fishing top waters, you're wondering like, wait, don't we just throw them up shallow in a bunch of junk? No, not always. Okay, you can switch it up. There are fish out there in the open waters, all right? Or if you're throwing to the bank, just switch up, turn out to the main water and throw that bait out there and bring that top water back. And you'll be surprised, man. There's fish hanging out there schooled up that are just waiting for something to struggle on the top of the water so they can attack it, guys. And with that being said, first thing it brings my mind to is a walking bait or a spook style bait. Right here, the Sexy Dog by Strike King. This thing is a beast, all right? You could throw that thing out there, no cover, very, very little cover, all right? These baits, they're gonna need a little bit of space. Now you can work those baits back as they walk themselves back, and you can get bites, guys, all right? So you don't wanna throw this around a bunch of junk. You could throw it on the outer sides of those pads, those outer edges of the pads, or those grass ledges, or, outside of the reeds a few feet, okay? You don't wanna get too close to those reeds. If you're fishing parallel to those reeds, the walking bait works. And I also keep two colors in this. You have a natural color, all right, like a natural bait fish just scurrying on the top there. Or I keep that white, all right. Very natural shad look, right? Definitely during the shad spawn, these work great. And right now we're into the shad spawn in a lot of areas. Some have shad spawn coming, some already running through it, but these do wonders. A spook walking style bait, all right? The Sexy Dog is a beast. You hear those rattles, it's loud, it makes some noise, and it brings those fish from a distance. All right, the Sexy Dog definitely does work. All right, slack line, you're going to want to work that almost like how you would work a jerk bait with that semi slack line, and you will get that bait just a walking. And guys, you will get bit. All right, so walking bait is awesome. Another one that I love to use here, you see that it's got the 3 hooks, a little longer, a little bit slimmer. All right, that is the Hound by Guggen. This right here, you see it has that cupped face on it. This is great for staying in the target zone. All right, so even really sparse cover, all right, but it has to be pretty light cover because these have a walk to them, man, and they need a little bit of room. All right, so you don't want to throw them up against the pads. You don't want to throw them right tight up close to your lumber or your wood, and stuff like that. You really want to deal with sparse, very, very light to no cover. All right, these do the trick. The Hound, it's got that feather treble, got the 3 hooks, very good hookup ratio, guys. This thing, man, I've had this thing for a little while. It's been eaten on. Um, this does wonders. You see, I also have it in a white bonish color. All right. And there's a reason because that gets bit, guys. Black, oh, almost hit myself. Black also does the trick as well. So check out the Hound. That black with a little chartreuse on this thing does the trick, guys. So top water walking style bait. Another old school, I think everybody forgot about bait, is the old Cordell, man. Look at that. That's an old school spy bait. I don't see anyone talking about this at all. This works fantastic in sparse cover, similar to where the buzz bait may work, but I also like to use it in very, very light to no cover situations because you could throw this thing a distance and you can just chug it along. You can pause this, it'll sit right there in that water column. It doesn't sink. Okay, it's a high float. It sits right on top of the water, and you just chug it along, and you will get those strikes, man. These blades just get to working. All right, they cause a little friction, they make a little noise, they cause a little commotion, and this thing gets bit. Now, no one's talking about this bait, guys, and this bait is still relevant. A lot of people don't know it, but this bait is still relevant. You can use it in brackish water, salt water, fresh water. It still gets those bites, guys. So do not be afraid to use the things that people think are outdated because no one's using them. These fish haven't seen this. This right here is an extra something special for you. You can find this bait at Ollie's. You can find it at Walmart. It gets the bites. Don't tell nobody, all right? That's a secret. Nobody's really talking about those. Those really get it done. You get that, man. Black, white, bone color, natural colors, those get bit, guys. So very, very light cover to no cover situation. That was very simple. You can pretty much throw all of these baits in no cover to very light cover. All right, guys. So if you're wondering, well, is that it? No, all of these I've said before, you can definitely throw in those situations, guys. Just like that. Very, very simple. Low light situations, you know, guys. The same thing. Morning, evening, and midday bite. You can definitely get those fish on the yacht, on the boat, or the bank, guys. So now we're going to move into the heavy, heavy cover, the junk, the cheese, the sludge, the laydowns with the thick brush, the thicker brush, the reeds, all right? What do we throw in that heavy, heavy junk? What do we do with that? I'm going to tell you what we do, guys. We're going to throw a frog. Yeah, guys, we're going to throw a frog. You see this? This one is my chartreuse. We're going to get this frog. I have so many frogs all over the place. Frogs, I have them. All right. We're going to grab a frog for the heaviest junk, for the cheese. There's nothing like a top water bite. The frog is known for being like the original top water bite, right? Just get a frog, you throw it in those pads, throw it in that junk, and you just give it those twitches. You work it out, you let it sit, and eventually you get bit. All right. The frog is the hands down number one top water bait for heavy cover. All right. It's got the double hook. You see it. I like to bend my hooks up. So you see it catches very soft body frog. Don't get a hard body frog, guys. Get a soft body frog, and man, it will increase that hookup ratio tremendously. All right. So throw those frogs in the pads, in the junk, on that slime, on the cheese. Throw that frog, guys, and you will get bit in the heaviest to cover. Those little holes in the reeds, throw that stuff. That thicker grass that comes above the surface, throw that frog. I'm telling you, the frog works, all right? And it does wonders. And if you want to get a little snazzy with it, it's got a little bit of lane or just a little bit of gap in between those pads. Don't be afraid to use that popping style frog. It's got the cut mouth, all right, to keep that bait right in place, right in that little opening, and you will get bit, man. This is one of the best styles of frogs. I use the popping frog a lot in the pads as well. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but I know when it gets in the water, I give it a little twitch or two, and it's not going anywhere. It's not trying to get up into the, the lily pad butt crease, so to speak, and it gets stuck in there. No, you just give it some twitches and it's barely moving, guys. It's just doing this. It's in the same spot. Just looks like something that's struggling. that's going to be eaten. Okay, so it's struggling right there. It doesn't move forward. It's got the cut mouth. It's going to stay in place. All right, working them through the pads can be a little bit more difficult depending on the frog. I do like the Z-Man popping frog, all right, with the cut mouth on it. I do prefer that over the Guggen one. The Guggen popping one I like to keep on the outside of the pads or in those lanes that are in the lily pads. I'd rather fish this there in that Z-Man in the pads itself because it has a little bit slimmer cut mouth and it comes through those pads a little bit better than most people would think, guys. So frog, don't be afraid to play with it, all right? And not all frogs have the rubber, skirted legs or the feet, however you want to look at it. Try something different. This frog here, awesome. Has that Colorado blade on it. All right, it's made a little bit different and it's also a little bit smaller when you want to get that finesse going. This frog right here does the trick, man. That is a great frog to fish with. You got to go ahead and get you frogs, man. Get those. They work in so many situations and scenarios, all right? Another bait for deep, deep cover. It's going to blow your mind. Texas rig plastic. All right. Now you can get the toads, all right, the zoom toads, the frogs, all right, those soft plastic frogs. Z-Man, I love their frogs, all right, because they're made out of uh mm. And Z-Man, I love their frogs because they're made out of Elastec. They have a high float capacity, guys. So you get you a little, not a lighter wire hook, but don't use a number 6, number 5 hook. All right, I like to use a number 3 hook. All right, so it helps get me through those pads. It's a little bit less mass to worry about down there, and it does keep that bait a little lighter and keep it on the top of that water column. All right, guys, and you can fish it subsurface, which gets tremendous bites. All right, I like doing it with the lizard. Okay, get you a Texas rig lizard, throw that thing in the pads. No weight, guys, a weightless plastic. Throw that thing in the pads, start to work it back, and you'll be surprised that subsurface bite, that top water bite on those kicking toads and frogs, man, totally awesome bite, very aggressive bite, guys, and it's addictive. Okay, you just fall in love with that bite. There's nothing like it when you're in the pads and you get bit, man. I tell you what, that is a very good reason to go northern snakehead fishing. I like to do it because most of the time you're fishing for the northern snakehead, you're using a frog, guys. You're using frogs and you get that top water bite, and those guys are vicious, man. Those fish are very aggressive, and man, when you get one on, man, you better hold on and try to haul him in the boat, because if you give him one chance, he's gonna get away. All right, guys. So it doesn't just work for bass. I do love to go snakehead fishing as well. But guys, this is top water. All right. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment. I will definitely make a video going through each one of these one by one and do a deeper dive on where and what situations I throw these baits in. All right. Because some of them are specific to what I'm seeing out here on the water, and some like the frog, I see a lot of junk. I see a lot of cover. I'm not going to try to get snagged. I'm going to throw a frog. It's just that simple, or a Texas rig, all right? Weightless Texas rig. It's just that simple. So, fishing top water is a piece of cake, guys. And I hope this general breakdown was helpful for you guys. So, hey, hit that like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below if you've ever fished some of these top waters. So, yeah, guys, that's my time. Go out there and catch you some. Tell me all about it. Tight lines and all that good stuff everybody says. Peace.